Okay, I seem to be live. Okay, hey guys, I am Marcherify, and I got my commentator with me. It's Roguelink.
Hello, everybody. Good morning or evening, depending on where you are.
Exactly. Roguelink is the current world record holder of this game. He taught me a lot about this game, and I'm really grateful to him. So,
Glad to help.
what we're playing is Gargoyle's Quest. Which is a Game Boy game from, what, 1990, almost straight I
Yeah,
think?
like 91 actually. It was a
Yeah.
super early Game Boy game. Um, one of the first actually, and bragged about its four directional scrolling, which actually hadn't been done on the Game Boy yet. Gargoyle's Quest did it before Mario.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what I like, I'm gonna start the game now, if that's fine with everybody. And then I think, keep talking. So I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Oh, for some reason, I have no control of the game. That is optimal, I guess.
Uh-oh.
Wait, I can do that and that? Why? Oh, I got an idea. Okay. Restart the timer and we're gonna go again. I found the issue. Okay. Now again.
It's okay, you got this.
Yeah, I got this. I'm a little nervous. We're starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, there we go.
Hey, there we go. Alright, so as previously stated, this is Gargoyle's Quest, the first game in the Gargoyle's Quest series. Not too many people have heard of the original Gargoyle's Quest.
Yeah.
Very few people have heard of Gargoyle's Quest 2. A lot more people have heard of Demon's Crest, which is actually the third in the series. Gargoyle's Quest, you're going to see it here coming up, is a pretty interesting 2D platformer with a limited hover mechanic. So you can see Firebrand, who's the main character, floating over gaps and things with this sort of limited hover preventing you from falling. And it gets you into some pretty tight spaces and adds some pretty interesting movement options to the game. This also has some pseudo upgrade RPG elements where we're going to be getting stronger over the course of the entire game. So even though we can't jump very high right now and we can't fly very far, our wing strength is going to get upgraded, our jump height's going to get upgraded, pretty much the whole shabam. Nice damage boost there.
Oh no!
Oh
wow! Okay, well, nobody saw that one.
Ooh, yeah. So that's the high jump fish. He's rude. Every once in a while, that fish will jump pretty high up in the air, and it can cause a lot of problems. You kind of have to be real careful and look out for it, but it doesn't happen often enough where you really think.
Okay, I'm gonna just go save on this one.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully, there we go. A nice, low, reasonable fish this time.
Don't even need this.
There we go, cutting it nice and close. I don't think I've ever gone into this room at full health. Well, without grabbing the health pot. And bosses here are pretty straightforward. Bosses don't have iframes, so it's just a matter of clinging against the wall and mashing like crazy, and they'll all go down pretty fast. And now we're entering the first overworld section. This is where random encounters come into play, and it's one of the unfortunate things about speedrunning this game, although a lot of really good luck here. There's random encounters that can be a lot of different things.
Well, I do want to say something about those random encounters on that section. I've been working on a manipulation, and it's not exactly a manipulation, it's more like a gamble. It's 50% to get an encounter, and if you don't get an encounter on the first couple of tiles, you know exactly that you will not get an encounter the whole way through, which is pretty nice. I found that out.
Yeah, this is an important manipulation that we've been looking for a long time. The RNG is pretty complex in this game,
Yeah.
and anything that we can do to sort of lean it one way or another will really take away from the randomness. Because these random encounters, especially in the early game, can be pretty devastating to your run.
Absolutely. Like,
this is our good friend Jark here. He's going to give us the first jump upgrade, which is going to allow us to progress to the next level.
exactly. Jump upgrade is the fingernail of the Spectre. Pretty unfitting for jump upgrade, but I think it's funny nonetheless.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Yeah, the armor makes sense. The health upgrades make sense. That's armor. The wing upgrades make sense. Those are wings, but all of your jump upgrades are nails, so...
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I hate these. Five shield guys.
Yeah, this is easily the slowest encounter for your power level. And in pretty much in the game, this is the slowest encounter. With one very unlucky exception at the end. Where you can randomly find the first boss. But at that point, you just take the death. Here, you can take the death, and taking a death is always faster against a random encounter, simply because the victory fanfare takes so long. But the second level monster tower is really, really tough, so we don't want to do that. Plus, there was a death on the first stage, so we don't really have any lives to spare.
I was just about to mention that I already lost one life, or one backup life basically. So
another forced encounter here. This one's pretty quick. This shield setup is way easier just because it's super quick to get behind them, and it's pretty easy to position yourself optimally.
okay, we get the same guys again. No biggie.
Yeah, so what was that? 4 encounters, which isn't too bad, honestly. I've seen way worse.
Okay, hardest level in the game, IMO?
Yeah, just actually the hardest level in the game, for sure. The difficulty curve in this game is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in Rushofeld's Castle a little.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this stage is pretty rough. The jumps wouldn't be too bad if you could jump a little bit higher. Everything just uses your maximum wing strength. Ooh, that's gonna be close. So unfortunately,
I think I'm gonna be making a save state here just to make sure we're not gonna die later. Like right there. I'm sorry.
Ooh, rough.
Yeah, I needed to do that. Okay, I kind of messed that up, but with 1 HP, I needed to make sure there. See, because otherwise we would have been reset to the start of the overworld where we came out of after the first level. So that's a no-go on a marathon, and there's no way to prevent it. So I guess
yeah, unfortunately, without even optimally, you want to get to the
yeah. Okay, I gotta concentrate now. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. This is a pretty tough stage, all in all. And what's worse is you have to do it without taking any damage to optimally fight the boss in here.
Exactly. Sad. Keep doubting myself.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of jumps in this game where you really have to just go for it and hope that your wings don't give out too early, especially at this point in the game.
Okay, boss coming up.
Good luck. So this is going to be slightly different from what you usually see in a run. Just because there's a few places that you could optimally damage boost in order to save a lot of time on the second or third eyeball here. But since March is going to need to not take any damage...
my! Hey. Good thing I have a save state for this.
Oh, and it looks like since this save state is at 2 health, you're going to be able to see the optimal damage boost. So taking a damage boost... Oh, there you go.
Oh god.
Right.
Oh,
Here,
okay. Oh, I got the animation cancelled. That's why nothing happened. Okay.
Well done.
Yeah, it's a lot less stress when you have 2 HP.
And now we have the Gremlin Stick, as well as a new attack, the Blockbuster. So the Blockbuster is going to be super useful for the simple reason that we have 2 shots now. So we're able to very, very easily, because like I said earlier, with the no iframes on enemies, we're able to have twice as many attacks, which means we can kill things twice as fast. Although I'm not sure where your lives are for this.
Me neither. That's why I went for the safe strat there.
Now, ideally, you'd be taking a death on all of these encounters running back to Jark, because the optimal route is to kill the 2 shield encounter, even though it's a forced encounter. But you can take a death warp as soon as you talk to Jark, which sends you to the tower, and that saves you a little bit of travel time in the overworld. If you don't get any encounters, you can still use the instant kill from the bridge, though it is a little bit slower.
Good thing I set the estimate to 35 minutes instead of 30, because otherwise I'd be really stressed right now.
And there we hand in that Gremlin Stick. So now we're informed that the king's in danger, so we're going to go save them in true hero fashion, even though we're playing the villain. And there we go. Yeah, looks like you had the right amount of lives. And funny story, this is actually a spot where the English version of the game is more difficult than the Japanese version, because exiting the monster tower in Japanese actually gives you an extra life that you have to worry about burning through, as opposed to English, where you just get the Gremlin Stick and the power boost. Speaking of power boosts, we're getting an armor upgrade here. So it's going to bump our health from 2 to 3, which is actually really nice. There's a lot of attacks that do 2 damage at this point in the game, and it's going to allow us to get through certain random encounters a lot faster.
Exactly.
And it's also going to allow us to get through the next level much easier, because it gives us more room to work with things like damage boosts. Quick transition level here. There's a few of these in the game, very similar to that bridge that you saw March going over back and forth. It's not really a full level because it's not a boss, but it's a nice change of pace. So here's an excellent example of why 3 health is so much better than 2. Yeah, exactly. You can take damage from those, because the thing with random encounters is the encounters don't end until 2 conditions are met. All of the enemies are dead, and all of the bullets are off screen. And you can get bullets off screen by either letting them travel off screen, jumping up into the air to despawn them, or getting hit by them. So when you have 3 health, that means you can take more damage boosts and just make the fights that much faster. March also getting the wing strength upgrade. On the most optimal route through this game, you'd actually skip this upgrade, but no one really does that trick in runs, except for me, because I'm a madman.
Well, I've been attempting it, but I never got it on a run up until now.
Yeah, it's definitely a really, really tough trick. It's about 16 frame perfect, nearly frame perfect inputs in a row. So I don't blame anyone for not going for it. And here we go. The Chariot's pretty tough fight. It gets a lot easier later when you have 4 health or even 5 health.
Yeah.
But here you just have to damage boost on the spikes, and that allows you to sneak behind him. Another pretty big fight here, but fortunately you can just mash like crazy to kill the first one.
Yeah,
or even
which I didn't.
damage boost. Yeah, it's a pretty tight window to get that first one, but there's always damage boosting. You fortunately only take 2 damage from those guys. You have to be really careful not to get hit by the body of the ogres, because those do 3 damage as opposed to the head, which does 2. Another transition level here. That jump is the one where you can just barely make it if you skip the jump up, the wing strength upgrade. But that's not the most marathon safe route, so.
Yeah.
It also makes the next stage much, much tougher.
Well, the only place where it does is where the demon, where you face the demon at the top of the, I don't know what to call it. It's not a hill.
Yeah, at the top of the tower, I guess.
Yeah.
But speaking of next stages, we are here now, and because of the color scheme that's being used right now, you can actually see the traps right away. And there's a few mechanics that are going on right now. The Blockbuster is able to destroy these weird looking blocks, and you'll notice that March is flying over those red squares. Usually those red squares look like everything else, but on the GameCube, like Game Boy player sort of color set, the traps show up pretty obviously because they're a completely different color, just because of how the palette works.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's
Yeah,
probably
this can
faster
be
to
a
jump,
tough section.
Just jump over it.
Yeah, it's hard to really see if you're just watching, but there's actually a really strong wind that's blowing throughout this entire section. So even though there was a wing upgrade that we just got, the wind is constantly blowing you to the left, making the jumps much tighter.
That is so sad.
Ooh, unfortunate.
Things that never happen. It's literally one of the easiest fights in the game.
Yeah, the bosses can be pretty easy if you get the right position, but if you're not in the right position, boy, do they kill you fast.
Oh, that could be a problem. We'll see, though.
You should be fine so long as you just let the wind push you to the left after you spawn him and just bait him out a little bit.
Yeah, no.
Just don't fly through him. Ooh. Almost.
Good thing we have the option to save state in this game. Wow. I am making a fool of myself today, so I take the full blame if anyone is not entertained by this. Wow.
Get a bunch of shots in, and then retreat. And then you'll want to keep shooting at them. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that thing can be pretty tough. Again, there's a lot of there's very little room for mistakes throughout all of these levels. So if one small thing goes wrong, you really need to know how to recover. And it can be pretty hard to recover, honestly, even if you just take 1 damage.
I did it again. Oh, okay, I'm fine there.
Okay, there you go. And now that standing on top of the block, just mash and go to town, and you're perfectly safe and pretty easy to kill before they separate.
Gold coins, gold
Well, that shouldn't have happened. That is a gold split sound, but that's not an accurate one.
I think you forgot to do a split before the King's Palace, so it thinks your King's Palace split was empty. Here we're using the Gremlin Stick in order to restore some of the King's power, and this is the reason why that bridge skip trick we were talking about works, because we're getting a huge power boost here to both wings and jump strength. So it completely overrides any ability that we're able to skip. And the TAS even skips 2 upgrades, both the jump upgrade and the wing strength upgrade. And now you can see just how much faster these encounters are going already. March is able to jump up to that upper level and kill both of those super fast with the block breaker. Getting some pretty unfortunate luck with random encounters here, though.
Oh, wow. Really am.
Oh, wow, yeah. Usually the average for encounters here is probably 2, I'd say. Maybe 3.
Yeah.
So as soon as you're getting more than that, it's pretty unfortunate. The worst thing about the random encounters, though, is that vials aren't really used for anything. The only thing they're used for in-game is for buying lives. But, of course, since this is a speed run, we don't really do that, because they're super out of the way. Every single one of them. Next up is the Desert Pit. This is personally my favorite level in this game. I really like this first descent, and that was very good. You're able to make it without slowing yourself down at all.
Ow.
And it's a pretty tight squeeze, but you're able to pull it off. Unfortunately, March took some damage there, but fortunately, unlike the other levels, there's actually a bit of health that you can grab that's on the way. This boss is pretty tough, and you do need to be at full health, but there's at least a tiny bit of wiggle room that you get with the health that's coming up here.
Not making it close at all.
There we go. And this boss is super tight. Yeah, it makes sense to do a save state here.
Why? What is he doing? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, generally speaking... There you go. Yep. Yeah, his pattern can be kind of manipulated based on if you shoot something down below, but that was actually a very lucky pattern. Usually he basically goes back and forth on top of you, and you have roughly 10 frames, a single set of iframes in order to get him down, and that's assuming you're at full health. But as a reward, we get another attack upgrade. We get the Claw, which is another attack that we can have multiples on screen, 2 I believe, and it also does more damage than the Brick Breaker. It also has an incredibly useful ability, which allows you to shoot spikes on walls and makes a temporary platform that you can climb up. little mini boss here, super easy, but you get another armor upgrade, which is always nice to see. And you can see how we're getting so much more powerful. There's actually a great fight coming up here soon, which is the exact same fight that we had before we crossed that early bridge before King's Palace. And you can see just how much more powerful our character is at this point, and just how much faster the random encounters go. Pretty good luck on this run, which is pretty fortunate. So as you can see, just damage boosting only once, and the claw doing a ridiculous amount of damage compared to what you have earlier in the game. Hey, there we go. No encounters on that run, which is always nice.
Yeah. We're getting there. Still an estimate. That's all I'm watching for, honestly.
And here coming up, we get to see that special ability of the claw that I was talking about, where you're going to shoot against the wall, and then you can climb up it. There's a few places that needs to be used, and a lot of the routing in the final level, in certain routes, you can actually skip those with some clever damage boosts, but again, that means you're pretty low on health. This is the giant plot dump of the game, where essentially we find out that we're in fact the main character of this story. If you talk to the NPCs in this game, they keep talking about the Red Blaze, and it goes from being a giant event to a person to a gargoyle, and you find out in this cutscene that you are in fact the descendant of the Red Blaze, and that's why you are in fact the one to save everyone from this invasion of the Demon King, or King of Darkness. Again, another encounter that we've seen before, but because of our extra health and increased damage, just a couple damage boosts, and then we're done. And now we find out we have to go fight Marcherify, which, interesting little bit of trivia, Marcherify's name is actually Lucifer, but the Nintendo of America translation team didn't want any religious reference in the game, so they just translated it to Marcherify. Another tight section here. Some pretty interesting damage boosts you can do here.
No.
But again, a lot of tight jumps, and oh no!
Good thing is we spawn right away here again, so it's no biggie.
Yeah, fortunately there's a spot right here. And now you even have some extra lives to use for random encounters if you need to.
Exactly.
Which is great because the slowest random encounter is actually in this section. There's a very small chance that you can find the fish boss from the first level.
Oh yeah.
And the worst thing about it is the only attack that works is the weakest attack from the very beginning of the game. So it takes forever to kill. So hopefully you have a spare life at that point, because it's going to save you a ton of... Taking the death is going to save a ton of time over actually doing that fight. This is also an interesting mechanic here, and thankfully no random encounters.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. It's a really long section, so not getting any encounters is really good.
This room's another interesting thing. There's a bunch of these levels all about, and the NPCs actually tell you the correct one to go through. But if you go through the wrong one, you end up going forwards or backwards, just end up in that same area. But only this one cave sends you where you're trying to go, which is to Rushafell and into Rushafell's castle.
Okay.
Now, are you going to be doing the zip or just going through normally?
The zip doesn't really save any time, so I mean
That's fair.
we can show it off. I think that's the thing we can do. Took damage, not good. Oh wow. Well yeah, it's good the thing we have extra HP, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess probably just go through normally then.
Wait, we can't go through it anyways at all. Okay, I have to kill myself. Otherwise,
Yeah, I think you have to take the death there.
yeah, with 1 HP, you're basically dead at that point.
Yeah. It's possible to make it through there without taking any damage, but it's really slow and really tight.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Choking. Wow. I am making save states.
Rushafell's castle is easily one of the harder levels in the game. You don't quite have your full power yet, and there's a lot of really tight jumps and really awkward situations. Especially with things like this drill where you almost have to take damage. Fortunately, there's a way to hit the wall spikes and drop all the way down, taking only 1 damage.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty easy to just take 2. And fortunately, there are backup hearts throughout this level as well. You have the 1 heart that March already picked up, and there's also a heart right before the boss, which you can grab as well.
Okay. I am not going to take any more risks. I just said that and then I'm going to die again. So it seems like you are able to save anywhere you like, but no, I'm just making save states at this point. Because I'm not feeling safe at all.
Oh, there you go.
Just on practice, I got almost every level first time, by the way, so call that
Yeah, this
marathon
can be
jitters.
Yeah, it doesn't take much for this game to show its fangs and get really rough.
The first time I played through this level, by the way, I wanted to talk about this. These chains that go in and out of the wall, I had no idea how to approach this. I was like, how did the game company expect anyone to beat this level? Until I saw that you can just boost through those with damage boost through those with hitting the spike. But that can in no way be the intended way to play the level, so I'm still wondering what they were thinking when they designed this level, because it's so tight to make these jumps. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I definitely remember as a kid frequently running back from the town just before Rushafell's castle and doing it over and over and over again, because it's definitely one of the more difficult levels in the game, for sure. And with that, we get the Eternal Candle from Rushafell. We are at full strength with max health, max jump height, infinite wing strength, and we just have 1 level to go. Breaker's Castle.
Exactly. Sadly, we're already a little behind. So the English version is not making it any better.
Yeah, the English version, I believe, loses about a minute or 2. I can't actually remember off the top of my head. It's been a while.
Okay, yeah, but I'm gonna show off this trick because it's not too hard.
Yeah, this trick's pretty fun.
Okay.
So basically, there's a 2-pixel window, 2 or 3. I'm not actually sure what the window is now that I think about where you can slide under the level but not actually be dead yet. And since we have infinite wing strength here, we can just fly over to the right, which is just the exit of the level. And the only reason we're able to do that is because we have the infinite wing strength and we don't just fall. And here we go, final stage of the game. The incredibly risky version of this level has you swapping the menu twice and taking a bunch of damage boosts. But depending on how safe you want to be, you can generally swap between 3 or 4 times. So the risky strat is pretty different from the normal way to get through this level.
Oh no, I can't hit him. Wow. Okay. That's one less skip we can do.
Yep, here's another one you might do sometimes where you take damage on those spikes to jump off of the lava. A lot of the skips in this involve damage boosting on spikes to take 1 damage instead of taking more damage from the lava to jump up. Or damage boosting on the spikes to make awkward jumps that you're otherwise supposed to clear with the claw. Such as this one right here.
Yeah, but I like this level design because it basically puts everything every tool you gathered along the way together. Because you have to use.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite levels for sure. Like I like the desert pit for its interesting downward direction, which isn't something you usually see from a platformer, and it's the only one like it in this game. But I love the fact that this level actually has you using all of your powers and abilities.
Yeah. Also, have you mentioned that in the desert cave, the falling that you do is the fastest way of transportation in the whole game, or like of movement?
Yeah, falling is your fastest movement. So the reason why you want to take so many risks, especially in the desert pit, while falling and not stopping, is because then you're just falling at maximum speed. Here is the cruelest trick in the game. It's the only time in the entire run that you need to say no instead of yes.
Exactly.
If you say yes here, you are forced into the fight with no powers, and you just have to die.
It's like a lesson about morality.
Which is hilarious because we're playing as a villain from the Ghosts and Goblins series. And here we go, just get next to his head, and that's pretty much it. Okay. And then time will be coming up when we get a fade to white after talking to the king in the next screen.
Okay. Well, thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for the Insomniacs team. Thanks to the Insomniacs team for letting me run this, and also for organizing this incredible marathon. I know I'm on the team, but I just want to say thank you to everyone else who's part of this, and I really appreciate every single one of you. So yeah, I'm gonna be hopping off so that we can get on, as I was overestimated. So yeah, thanks again, and good luck to the next runner.
Enjoy the rest of the marathon, everybody.